I remember a friend of mine told me that he wanted to be the standard response. Oh, what do you want to do? Well, I'm going to do business. And he's like, yeah, well, my 20s, my 30s will suck, but then I'll get to my 40s and I'll have a good time. And the thought hit me of just being stuck in a cubicle for 2 decades, and that freaked me out. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do art. My name is Dan Lombardi. I'm a freshman here at the wonderful Syracuse University, and I am a communication design major. When I was growing up, well, obviously, every kid doodles, and I was just 24/7. I had like a crayon or a pencil or a pen and a sheet of printer paper, just for hours and hours each day. I was never really a big athletic kid. It was mostly artistic stuff. And musical stuff also. There was a strict, at least one instrument policy in the house. They made us do piano and then we could pick. And I picked guitar and I stuck with that for a while. I did a whole bunch of stuff for people back home. I designed 2 posters for the school play. Lots of posters for the, their coffee house club, CMW, that was a big one. A longtime guitar teacher of mine is writing a how-to guitar book, and he asked me to illustrate for him the cover and all of the how-to illustrations on the inside. May 5th last year, we were a 15-person friend group, and a friend of ours, Matt, he passed away from suicide. And I would say that's probably something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. He was like me in a lot of ways, and he was like he was a perpetually happy kid. And when you find out that someone that happy was really so secretly in a dark place, it really makes you appreciate how, happy and okay things are in your own life. So for about 1.5 years, me and a friend of mine from back home, his name is Connor, we've had the idea to make a cartoon about our friend group. We've had it for about 1 year, 2 years now. And it was always kind of a pipe dream, he'd written some stuff, I had illustrated some stuff, and I have a neighbor in Boland who lives right next to me, who I was pitching the cartoon to, I was just telling her about it. And she loved it so much, she's like, I'll wait right here. And I was like, what? She comes back with her dad on the phone. And she's like, talk to my dad. And I was like, hello. And he's like, oh, I work with TV execs, blah, blah, blah. I got a guy who I think would be cool to pitch this to. So, work on it over the summer, get some material to it. And then we'll see what we can do. Matt. He was definitely part of the creation of the show because after what happened, I think a part of my desire to make the cartoon is to kind of tell his story a little bit, considering how much it would be attached to our real experiences. And on top of that, I think his biggest contribution to the show will be the fact that the entire musical soundtrack I would use for all 4 seasons would only be rock music. The soundtrack essentially dedicated to him. It was a terrible thing that happened, but I think, if you're looking for some good in it, some good things did come out of it. If I'm ever in a dark place, or I'm sad, or I'm angry, just picking up a pencil and some paper for 3-4 hours, it'll calm me right down, put me in a good place. When you're doing something, not when you're doing something that you have to do, like if I'm assigned something. If I'm doing something that I want to do, you just get so lost in what you're doing. And it's hard to describe to people who aren't artists, but try to imagine something that you're really passionate about, and imagine just that feeling when you're doing it, how you get lost in the action of what you're doing. It kind of just clears everything else out of your mind. Take 1.
Okay.
Okay.